Okay. All right, so let's get everything in order here. So we can see that. All right, I'm just gonna wait for people to file in because I've got some talking to do. Hopefully everything works okay. It looks like, because I'm a bit further away or not speaking directly into my mic now, the volume is a little bit lower on that. I mean, I did change so many other settings to accommodate. Once people join in, we'll be able to, okay, it is public, so that's good. Yeah. So, there's one concurrent viewer? Concurrent, whatever it is. Whoever just joined, pop something in the chat. I want to see who it is. We're going to figure something out here. Maybe it's Mooney or Trico or Atlas. Hey, Trico. Okay, so here's what we're going to be doing. I've got 2 monitors. I had 2 monitors for work, but now I'm going to see if I can incorporate it in drawing. So this is what people are usually used to seeing. This one is on the larger monitor, the Dell that I have. And then I've got scene 3. This is my MacBook monitor. Where, so here's what I plan to do. As far as recording goes, because I want to do another speed paint video, I have the navigator window of Fire Alpaca moved onto this monitor. And as long as it's not too obnoxious, I guess. Let me see this. So essentially, this is what will track my progress. As I take a pen, and let's just do a test scribble, it will appear on there, and it will track my movement with that reddish square. That shows my monitor view. I don't want that there, but there's no way I can get rid of it. So what I'm thinking of is, even if my monitor moves back and forth as I'm drawing and such, then that will stay on. So like I don't have to worry about like if I'm zooming in and out of all the different things, because it's a little disorienting, I think, when people are watching the streams and I'm zooming in and out and in and out, stuff like that. Oh, this slowed down all of a sudden. Wait a minute. Is that just because I'm streaming? Nope, not. Okay, so the pen itself is still rather quick. It's the zoom that I just gotta worry about. If I switch to this monitor though. Okay, yeah, so the zoom is a bit slow. Let me see if it has something to do with the navigator. I gotta switch again. Okay. If I minimize this. Okay, so the navigator does slow it down. That's not good. Well then. I guess there's no harm in keeping this view. And this one does seem to follow my pen, which is good when I zoom in. But that's much quicker. Okay, so if the dual monitor setup isn't working, at least I can use this monitor in place of the other one. I can keep OBS information on there. Alright, so that's my test. And I'm also going to be playing No Thoughts, Empty Head Nintendo music on the other one. So if it just so happens that it sounds like I stopped talking for a while, or you stopped hearing anything whatsoever, then let me know in the chat below if you're still here, and I'll just turn off the music. Hopefully I won't shut down my stream, because that happened the other time, I think. Like, I was playing music and they just like freaking shut me down, which sucked. But yeah. Alright, let's get started then. Alright, hopefully that's a good volume. I'll switch to this scene, and we'll get started. I was going to take a picture of my desk for the thumbnail, but it said it was too big. Alright, so first things first, let's just straight up wipe everything. Switch to this monitor for the mouse. Pick a new new folder. Or not folder, layer. And we're going to do what I was doing before, but I deleted my progress. Set up a background first, just because I think it's cool. This, let me take full black, get a huge airbrush. Where's my airbrush? There it is. 2,000 pixels, something like this. This is the other thing that, oh wait a minute. First things first, I'm going to do a fill bucket of all black on this layer. Then I'm going to do the airbrush. So that get like a nice vignette. Undo. I think that's okay. Here we are. Now, we'll turn these off for now until we get some substantial progress. Everything coming in loud and clear, Trico? What I really like is how much faster the pen is on this monitor, even with I got the stabilizer on, which means I may want to turn it up some. Let's give that a shot. We'll try 10. Yeah, that works. All right. So let's plan out how we're going to do this. If he's right-handed, I think we're going to have to do him facing the left side. Then. Get shapes out. We're going to have him like floating in the air as he plays. Just playing out his positioning as a start. Be really dynamic with this. I know it's just going to look like a bunch of shapes now, but I really hope this turns out to be something cool. Let me take off the line, we don't need it yet. Okay, so depth control is still on. Hey Moon, welcome to the stream. So the deal with this is we're going to have a bit of a struggle here. We've got a lot of different things we've got to make sure we get done within this singular project. One, we've got to successfully redesign Cybz. Two, we've got to make this guitar look pretty cool. Or a key guitar, so whatever you do. Maybe from the side. I don't know. You gotta figure out. Maybe I will have the background on just so I get a sense of where we're putting everything. Or something like that here. You ate flan. Is that like Jello? Yeah, I think so. Did you enjoy your flan, Moon? I think the best way to go is to first draw the guitar, then draw him around. Ooh! Sounds nice. Yeah, I think this will be better in the long run. Monitor is very shaky for some reason. gotta do more of a showcase. It's body armor. We could do a sort of circular shape. If we could pull that off, let's see. Because that might be cool if we, oh shoot. If we display his polygonal rigidity in the form of like a circular shape. You know, I could see like his tail having like snaking segments outwards. Alright, let's see. We'd have to do it from the side though, is the thing. I think honestly, with how difficult this is going to be for me, maybe side view will actually make it like a better choice in the long run, just so we can figure this out. Oh, this time I actually do need the navigator. Switch displays. Pull this up. And we're gonna drag it into this window. Go. This needs to be way smaller. I'm gonna just put this back where it was. And that day's going alright so far, Moon. Thanks for asking. Okay, we're gonna switch back to this display. We're gonna rotate it some. If we get it like on a 45-degree angle, that might also be cool. We have like the back square shape. And we can start planning out where we want different elements to go. And the head, flat bridge. Could help show like three-dimensionalism too. But that might also be a bit tricky from the shape though. He's going to be playing a guitar, or some futuristic guitar mechanism. Because it's going to go with, shoot, how do I do command? Oh, I got to go over to the keyboard for that. Because this is for a new song that I'm going to release. Yeah, it is. Flex mesh. I think I had this rather fleshed out beforehand. keep the mouth shape then, we're gonna have, like, we're gonna say essentially that his mouth area is like flexible mesh. And I do like the hexagonal shape that May did that one time for his cheek. Let's see if we can work that in. Let's put that on a separate layer. We're gonna get rid of it. And we can move it around as we see fit. Okay, let's see. I think that's you can most definitely do a more perfect hexagonal shape, but for the time being, it seems okay. I hope I'm not overestimating my ability to do this. I don't think I am, because I'm a lot more experienced than I was like 3 years ago. But you know, this stuff can still be pretty tricky. I bet it could be one of those things too, where it doesn't even have to stay consistent, but as long as it gets like most of the way there, it'll be good. Ooh, idea. For his pupils, Jim. Can change that. Welcome, Atlas. Let's see that. That looks kind of cool. Ooh. Thought process. I'm not sure if it'll work, but it could be like different contorting joints in the mouth. So maybe it could have structure. The only important thing is to make sure that it doesn't get overcrowded with lines, because if he does, then it's just going to be like a mess. You still want the polygonal shape to come through. Your comment appears on the stream first before the actual chat. Does that mean it's lagging? Or maybe YouTube has updated their ultra low latency settings. But yeah, let's see this. If there's 3 major flex joints, or maybe 4. So we got this. We'd have to put a central snout adjuster as well. I forget what that looks like. If you want to send it in the Discord or like add it. That could be the distinguishing element. I'll take a peek. That might be a little too overcrowded comparatively to the rest of him so far. I won't throw it out of the equation though. What we're going to do, we're going to copy it onto a new layer and then check later to see if we still think it's cool. I do think the flex joint idea could work. Problem is, we would need to make those lines pretty much indistinguishable. Something like that, perhaps. Ooh. If we get another hexagon on the inside that is rotated. I'm gonna have to get really good at drawing hexagons, that's for sure. Nope, wrong layer. So this is more or less just playing around to see if we like what we've got. Am I still audible? Hello? I want to make sure my stream didn't get cut up for copyright. That is possible. Okay, I could probably look at that. Where's my Chrome tab? Alright, good. That means this playlist is not going to get me canceled. Because there were no ads on this. Oh wait, no, I'm on Google, that's why. I was going to say, there's no ads on this video, so that means they're not going to copy strike me. But at the very least, this video has been able to stay up, so it's good. Alright, I'm going to assume all is well. And while we're here, I'm going to move my stream view to a better window. View, so I can see better. Yeah. Alright, now we gotta switch the view back. So then if we got like this, then each point of the original hexagon switches out to the other two. Ooh, that looks cool. Now, part of me thinks this looks like another shape that already exists. So I'm not so Star of David. Whoops. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if I want to do that. There's nothing wrong with it, but it also kind of looks like the top of a diamond. Let's see. Take out this extra layer. See how it looks when we remove some of the clutter. Okay. We reset the view. I think temporarily it'll be fine. Now all we gotta do is fix the other polygons. I am kind of liking the mesh net too. Yeah, that actually looks better. If we have if we have thin seams for each of these lines, we can make them really thin, but then like the bolder lines will have nice and thick So that way you can still distinguish between them. Okay. Yeah, that other Annie drawing I did gave me huge amounts of practice for this. I wonder how Cybz would look with hair. I mean, he doesn't need it, but just out of curiosity. I mean, truthfully, nobody needs hair, but no, I like it better without. Simpler that way. Simpler, but it's already this freaking complicated. Of course, we've got these speakers. Maybe the speakers could go on the back of his head instead. Or the back of his ear. Because if they're in his ear, where is his hearing receptacle? If they're on the back, though, they could be like shielded from it. Huh. I might be overthinking this. But that's okay. Do I want to have a similar sort of latch-on servo for his eyelid? Nah. We can have his eye area be flex mesh. Now, I guess it makes more sense for the speakers to be in his ear, because we could say his microphone receptor is in any area that is not his ears. His ears are more or less just for sake for aesthetics, along with a lot of the things that are gonna be in here. Maybe it could be like in his forehead or something like that. But if he were to be playing music for people, he would have to be facing his back to them in order for the sound to project properly. So we'll keep them in his ears. For the time being, we'll just outline it like that. But it could be more in depth when we go to it. Shoot, I should probably rename my stream something to indicate that I'm doing something with Cybz. In case May wants to show up or something like that. Alright. I do like the cheek. It might be a little stretched out so far. This is usually where I put it, but I also don't want it to clutter his eye, or any of the other parts of it for that matter. See, this right here gives you the indication that it might be a little stretched out too far. So let's see, just without doing the polygonal work with it, if we move it closer. No, it just looks better there. Okay. Now we need to position. That's this head. That's giving me confidence in the polygonal design. Because that didn't even take that long. You guys started at 1. It was about a half hour to do the framework. I mean, if I get the hang of it otherwise. For how complicated he is, at least. It's better. Alright. Let's just plan out where we're going to put the rest of it. You can play with angles on this. Snake chain of links. I'm okay with giving him a long tail. Because we can make the excuse that it's got other uses. Like it's got transmogrified. Transmogrified, or it is, but probably not used in this context. But I want to give him a lot of power in the sense that like parts of his body can meld and change shape. Like, just imagine he can pull out like a laser blaster by like changing his arm shape and structure. Ooh. His tail could have detachable chambers of like fluid that could be different colors. And those different fluids could have different things. Because the way his brain is contained in his skull, or his robotic skull, has like a certain electromagnetic conductive fluid that he can take. Not that he can take, but essentially keeps his brain alive with electronic power. So what if he's got other containers in here? He snaps off part of his tail and like takes the vial to enhance certain abilities at certain times. Technical coordination, like intelligence and speed. Yeah, because even if his physical robot body can, he's still got like a physical human, not human, but like, yeah, just a physical brain. So then it can only do so much as far as controlling the body. Like, imagine if he wanted to use super speed or something like that. Then, like, the fluid that he's got would be able to help him control that speed and his motor ability. Like, make sure he doesn't crash into anything. And it has to be in this case because there's only so much the brain can do as a physical organ. But if there are other sorts of serums that it can use to keep it like preserved in the first place, and it mixes together with the mesh, so it'll all like eventually process through a system. He'll probably have other elements within his system that help wear it down over time, so he's not just constantly on a high of like speed. A lot of different thoughts for this design. Alright, we want to make sure he uses more space. I wonder if I could do like a sneak peek of the music. I don't know if I really like doing that yet because like essentially if I just spoil it now, then like people might not watch the video later when it does eventually come out. I am kind of torn about what I want to do tonally with this. The song itself is called Bionic Assimilation, and it's got a sort of somber tone to it. And I kind of want to carry out with that his emotion. But at the same time, he's like playing music, and I want to show passion for what he's doing. I probably could play it to like better explain. Ooh, let's see if I figure out a design. Which layer is that in? So that's all in this. Oh, I thought they were darker. Okay, let's see. It's like a dual chord sort of situation. Welcome back, Joe. Alright, we'll give them 3 breakpoints that can cluster together for his neck joints. How's that going? It has to be the same number in order for him to be able to bend his neck forwards and backwards. I've got a really cool idea for like a spinal cord sort of design of his neck. You have like, I want to have it so it's got like these shapes going both directions, and you can see it like the fluid coursing through. Something like this. But I want to be able to like make it a sensible sort of deal. That is just the break point. These are like rib cage elements. We have about one in the front and one in the back. But see, then they can't really realistically bend there. Yeah, they could detach here because they're bending forward, but these would be crushing out. What does it reflect? If I do it from the other side, so it's like a front and back sort of deal, you won't be able to see it that well. But yeah, if we undo this, that same sort of structure, but the diamonds are instead, yeah, if they're instead like this, let's undo that first. This is hard. I think it's more or less just the design aspect of it, because actually drawing it, if I get down to it, not only is it might take a while, but it's going to be a lot of fun. Because I'm at the point where I can enjoy the structure if I've created it on my own. Following what other people have done makes it a little bit difficult, and that's partly the reason why I have some trouble dealing with Atlas's drawing. But like, this is my own, and I can know exactly what it's supposed to be like if I plan it out that way. It is just supposed to be like plating for protection. Flex plating. I'm saying words that aren't really words, or like they're probably not the correct terminology, but I haven't explained them yet. I'm still talking about it as though it is just like common. They're like spring. It's like an elastic. I don't know if I like that. Let me see. Because the point of this, he's not just going to be like looking cool. Like, I can give like a whole bunch of fluid cells And that's essentially what his tail is. But his tail's not going to be like important for his survival, apart from like a weapon. It's a weak point, and then it's a storage unit, I guess. But it could also be, they could also be like reinforced steel cases with like little bits showing. Let's see if we can design one real quick. The individual shells in between will have like a sort of twist lock system. It's got like an oval shape. The rest of it's steel plated. His story is really interesting too. Of all the characters that I've had, his is the most fleshed out. Where essentially his mom is a scientist, and she wanted to do an experiment a long time ago to see if she could like perfect a method of like increasing the rate of cell growth in like people, so it could help like with repopulation and probably as far as like curing cancer and things like that, or like taking the idea of growth of cells, like in stem cell research. I don't know how all that fleshes out, but let's just say she figured out a way to do it, and she's got a lot of other things. So essentially what it was, she wanted to try this on like cells in order to generate a person. And so when she was trying it, it was going well at the start, but there was like a power surge or something because they were doing it in a storm, and then the machine that was doing it went haywire, and then as far as generating the person went, everything went all awry as far as like body deformities and everything, so it couldn't go on living for a while. But its brain was that of a fully grown human adult, or not human, but like a fully grown adult. And so recognizing this, they wanted to try and save him. So they had to put him on life support, and over the next night or so, they developed a sort of fluid so that they could take out the brain and keep it alive through electrical impulses. And well, from there, as they were keeping it alive, they wanted to create like a robot body that it could go into. And so eventually, that was how Cybz was created, and he's essentially the son to his mom because of that. I mean, even though not like biologically speaking. Well, biologically speaking, yes, because she was the one whose cells that he came from. But like, it's kind of morbid in how it was created, but it is interesting from a story development standpoint. And so he has like, yeah, I haven't touched on him in a while, and it makes me sad because he is a really interesting character, and I want to kind of make up for the sort of story that I've given him. But like, he's gotten well accommodated into like school with the other friends of my main group, and even though he's only like technically 7 or 8 years old, he is already like excelled. He doesn't even need to be in school for like educational purposes. Like, he gets absolute perfect scores because he's part of a machine. Essentially, he has extra enhancements that help him essentially have all the knowledge that he can access. And I mean, the teachers don't let him do that because it's cheating, but like, it still causes his brain to grow, and then just like, he ends up being really smart. But he's going to school with his friend so that he could learn how to be sociable, because that's not something you could really teach. And he's grown like really attached. But then with his mom too, he's also conducting his own experiments and technological advancements. There was one thing I wanted to draw at one point where it was like, he had built this little miniature robot of himself that would be acting as like a platformer, and there'd be a bunch of cubes that would like hyperlocate into space so that he could run along them or something like that. Like, they have this huge laboratory where they have a whole bunch of different gravitational experiments they could do. And yeah, so essentially, thinking about it now, I guess that's why I didn't necessarily like his original redesign, because his first design was cool. Like, if I go back into some artwork, let me see if I can find some for a sec. I'm going to temporarily change the stream window as I search. I'll pull it up on the screen. Let's see. File, open. Alright. I'm gonna have to go down really far. Or it might not even be on this computer, because for how old it is. Like some old instances of it. Because I had a few drawings of him at the start. Or at least that included him. You saw the original that I sent over Discord. Yeah, essentially. Each of the other ones have their own little elements of storytelling to them as well. But his, I think, is really cool. I'm just going to pull up a bunch of artwork that contains him. Interestingly enough, one of the other drawings that I had of him was actually also made because I made a song that I wanted to, called Malfunction. And that drawing's a little more grim because he is malfunctioning in that drawing. But, you know, as far as thematics go, there's areas that you can go into like existentialism with him because he's thinking about his own upbringing and what his life is now, unsure of like if he should be in the way that he is, or that's not really that doesn't really make sense, but he essentially is having trouble coping with his existence. Yeah, I'm just going to airdrop it to my computer, because the ones I'm thinking of are probably super old. Several years. They look like at the very beginning. I had a Halloween drawing of him, or at least he was in the Halloween drawing I had of everybody. Yeah. Alright, did I draw him? Oh yeah, his first drawing was terrible. I did not know how to draw robots at all. His second one was much better though. Yeah, I'm not gonna bother pulling it up, but let me count in total of the 500 plus drawings that I have, how many actually contain him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, that one's cute. Okay, I'll pull that one up. I forgot about the sleepover one. Sleepover one's one of my favorites from the old days. Okay, did that get sent? Oh no, it was canceled. Shoot. There we go. So there's that one. Oh, I didn't even include him in the Demon Days one. Shoot. Okay, I lost count. Where was I? So there's 4, 5. Six. Now I excluded him from a lot of group ones. Now I feel really bad. 7. 8. So yeah, there have only been 8 drawings of him that I've made. There was one that May made that looked super cool. But yeah, so essentially what we've got, let me pull the screen up. So this one I think is really cool. This is like one of my first ones that I still was using GIMP for. Yeah, thank you for letting me know when I had that intentionally, but yeah, this is one of the first ones that I had with everybody all together. And this one I think he's super cute. Or I still got like the polygonal shapes and everything. Still figuring it out. I actually didn't do that bad now that I look at it. The rest of his body just needed some extra work and I was kind of lazy on it. Just a bunch of balls attached to poles. But, you know, and he had some fun with it. Then there was the other one, the Malfunction one. which unfortunately is a little more grim. It does look a little better. I like it. And now we meet to today, where we've got like. Let me close out of these. Will it close out of all of them? I don't know. I gotta save this one first. Yep. Okay. That's the name of the song, by the way, Bionic Assimilation. Okay, get over here. Let me close out of you. Oh. So it did close out of everything. Okay. No, do not open Zoom. Get out of here. Get out of here. Okay. But the Fire Alpaca ad is still on the other monitor. This is so weird. Open recent. There we go. Now we got it back. But yeah, that's essentially Cybz' story. And because not his upbringing, but his conception was really grim. Yeah. And I like robots too. They're really cool when they're well done. And that's what I want to try and go for with Cybz now. And like I initially did not appreciate it very much, what I had going for. But like everybody, like all my parents and all had said that he looked really cool. Like of the people that are the kinds that like they don't invest too much in artwork. Or in my artwork, you know. Maybe it's not that. Okay, maybe instead of them being filled with fluid, because that's a lot, and it leaves up like a large risk point, we could have like some of them be that towards the end of his tail, because if he's in a spot where he needs to, then he can just detach his tail and like open up top, and then probably maybe it'll just be like capsules instead of liquid that like dissolve in his electrical acid. The rest of his tail could be a bunch of nanobots that can link together and form other sorts of equipment. Or like transform in different ways. We could just assume that they do that. Like, say he needs like some rocket boosts. Like some rocket boosters on his shoes. Then like 2 of them will detach and then it will clip to the bottom of his shoe, and the rest of his tail will shrink to match. So he has a long tail to have a lot of different abilities snatched onto it. The only problem is it becomes a liability if his tail gets too long and somebody can grab him by it. But he could detach it if he needs to. Like, see, I'm thinking about it as far as combat abilities go. Which is really interesting because I have never had any situation where anybody needs to do combat. But let's see. So that's planning the rest of his positions. Now we gotta get the rest of this down. This would be, yeah, like, so the head of the guitar is gonna be sort of like this. It needs to be at a different angle. Yeah, this is going to take some extra reworking, but from what we've got so far, we got like a guitar neck down here. You could have it like resting on his leg. This perspective is weird, because It's not just a perspective drawing. It's both perspective and, or like, it's coming out at you because he's holding it on an angle. But the rest of him is flat because we're taking it from the side. And I still want to be able to show what the instrument is, like, you know. We gotta be careful here. Okay. Let's take this into a separate layer so we don't make any mistakes. Or at least we could reverse. I gotta think about how I hold my own guitar. I'm sitting down. Maybe his hands don't need to come up that far, or do they? The end of it. His hand will latch around and extend back in space. This is hard. Gosh. I really want to pull this off though. If I can, it'll be so cool. He's like pulling at it. Move this. So he's laying on his left. That's the deal we've got here. That looks better. The head will be up there. That's gonna take some intense planning. But we can figure it out. And they can. Oh, shoot. I still put it on the same layer. Dang it. Well, this is all blending layers, anyways. So, okay, now it's getting into dicey territory. Because it's been about an hour now, and I haven't gotten anywhere substantial yet. I've done planning, but substantiated. But let me get rid of this circle. Looks like Hey Amber, welcome to the stream. Good to see you. I'm making metal or something like that. Be attached by like rotational joints. Start to sing. They could. Didn't. Or like ball and sockets. If it even shows up here. gonna have to take each different segment of his body and then sanction it out to be redesigned. The tricky part is going to be keeping the polygonal aesthetic. You can figure it out. See, I want to figure out the body first, but the freaking eyes can't be in the way. Okay, let's just for the time being move that to another layer. Then we'll cut it and then try and test. Control X, Control V. I guess part of it is I gotta plan the arm, and the arm is a little trickier. And then the torso junction. Yeah, I've got a plan the torso first. Thinking about that on a logical standpoint, he doesn't have a heart, at least, so to speak. He might have, well, he would have whatever electrical conducive replacement would be. And I would kind of want to have like the middle section exposed, not literally speaking, because that would be a major weak point. But as far as like, maybe it'll be like glassed over. But to show up just like the fluids coursing through. Like kind of like a metallic rib cage. Rotator, would need to be like a rotator cuff ring. Okay, so we can emote without. So this is where the ball joint comes in. Max degrees of light. 135, I guess. Let the plate come up. Maybe like a delt. Could be electromagnetically attached to him, so he could detach it if he needs to. He's gonna be like super technologically advanced. This is gonna be similar to like what Stormy had. Man. I'm gonna take a sip of water. Let's see. want something to indicate that there is features hidden inside there. Like, if his forearms can turn into laser blasters or even real guns, then maybe like it can have ammunition or something, or storage. Other sorts of gadgets in his forearm or his upper arm. So maybe it's not like, maybe it isn't like super obvious, but as far as concealing goes, like he'll have that crease around the outside. So just give him like some extra padding. I want to make that look cooler though. Like 3 twists. These could like break off and reveal so you could inside element, you know. Pelvic area. You don't have like some wires running through. And it needs to be detachable. Can you wirelessly control? That's the question. Does it make sense for him to? It's a weak point in like if his arm gets cut off or something, or if he wants to be able to detach it. Like he was able to detach his head in like the Halloween costume. The Halloween picture. I do see benefits in detachable limbs. So I don't think that he should be wired. The question is, how does the power otherwise route through them, and how is he able to control the electrical impulses? Well, it could be just wirelessly done, I think. I mean, that's not too out of this world as far as technology goes. I think about it. Like a pad that rotates out. Protect his joint. His hands are going to be weird too. For their individual servo caps. No, his story is actually the present. It's just like, I mean, it's not going to be like canon with our universe, but You in my own universe, I got into all these guys. Compare, like their whole storyline too. I have bits and fragments of it developed, but I've never gone through with it. You know. But essentially, not Andamir Island, Wyanna is like the place where they all live, and that's like a hidden island that you can't really see on the map. It's only visible to people that are on the island itself or in contact with it. It's just hidden in the middle of the ocean. And it's hidden because of a special amulet that Kat has that was passed on through her family, but she didn't know the power that it held. Okay, let's figure out how we're gonna do his hands. What this instrument's gonna look like too. Like, it's hard enough to design him without just the area being cluttered with so many things. Or this positioning. This positioning makes it difficult too. So all these sorts of things that are attached to him have to be done electromagnetically. So they can be detached at any time. But I think his hands, like individual limbs, so yes. But like the hands and the servo joints will be connected. And I think I'm just gonna make him with the same material that I made the rest of his body. Like before I had them be all green. Section of glass. And I immediately go back to the torso because you can have plexiglass. Just because something's glass doesn't mean it's not strong, I guess. But for a visual element, you know. Man, little me would have been amazed at the work that I'm doing now. Even though it's still all planning and stuff. His hips were getting trouble before. There's no reason for it to be round down there. We could just cap off. Or like the same rotator joints that are used. I can like recede back in. consequentially. I don't know if I'm going to be drawing him too much, given how complicated his design is. But at least I get some art with him. Or maybe I can ask other people to draw him. Though I know that's a lot to ask. I think I can have like a fluid section here. I don't think his thigh is going to have anything, but the fluid could show like for speed and agility. I could use to determine whether or not things are working. Have it look like a shin guard. Ooh, that looks cool. Let me hold my own guitar for a second so I can see what it looks like. So the palm, or the arm itself, extends out this way, so I'm going to reverse the curve. Yeah, that makes more sense. That's why things weren't looking right. Arms out this way. I just strummed my guitar with my pen. We're actually going to see the back of his hand. Flathead. This doesn't look right for some reason. What is it? His hand is facing the right direction. Well, it's electricity that is conducted through the various different elements in his body. So He does have a battery, but his brain is powered by the electrical impulses, and he can determine how to conduct those impulses based on his brain's activity. It's been coded in his system what each impulse means and how his brain's going to act to it. And it travels through this conductive fluid that courses all through his body. Well, from the brain to the different wires that are inside of his head. And if at any point it needs to be conducted through other areas, then it can travel through fluid as well. If it is going to be like, if it's going to be one of those detachable instances, like say he wants to detach his arm, and he wants to still be able to use it, they could have individual battery components in them that he can control remotely. I think I could have his arm just lower. Because I don't hold the neck of my guitar that high. And it keeps it further away from his head, too. Preferably. If his thumb latches around like that, the rest of his fingers come through. Probably is not going to look right for how far away it is from his body. But that is something I can deal with. A, because it's more like a keyboard than anything else. And B, because it fills up more of the central space. I don't want too much of it to be, like he's got his tail extended out here, but I want to be able to fill it. Maybe I could have like some musical notes coming out of the machine. This song sounds like Discord pings, and I keep thinking I gotta check. That's better. You're really not going to be able to see too much of the guitar at all. I really think about it. Maybe I have something else filling part of the space. It's so tricky. It's hard to think with this no thoughts Nintendo music. Maybe I gotta get into the mood of it. There's Yoshi. When did he get here? Just a little bit ago. This video is silly. There's just different thumbnails of Yoshi. Alright, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just get the music going. I'm going to play it for anybody that's on the stream now. It's gonna come through my microphone, but my microphone's not that bad, so you'll hear it in higher quality when I post it. But just to get the mood up, at least assuming you could hear it. I don't know how it's gonna sound through my speakers, but we'll hope for the best. And down a bit. Have a lower leg be like a spring. Oops. Hey, Mama. It's alright. I'm streaming right now. I'm streaming right now. Sorry. It is not Nintendo music. That was music that I made for this drawing. That's what I was sharing. I apologize. I should have announced it. But yes, I just put it on to get back into the mood of biorobotics. Or designing biorobotics. Because the Nintendo music was just getting silly. Nothing wrong with a little silly. It's just that for the time being, I fell out of the mood. We gotta recenter this. Thank you. Need to fold them in there. Positionally, this might not be the best. Oh, shoot. No. I might have to drop the circle shape in order to just get them to fit in to the spot. We have it like curl up. Maybe he could be using his tail, like if there's a special knob on the guitar that he's doing. Though interestingly enough too, now that I've listened to it again, the visuals behind this drawing are nowhere near as intense as the music itself. There's a little bit of a tonal disconnect, but I don't think it's going to be that important or that big of a deal to the overall impact of the piece. Alright, now I'll put the Nintendo music back on. Oh, anyway. Just a goofy picture of Yoshi. Okay. Let's get to this. This. You know what I'm gonna do for his hands? Another sort of mesh deal. Because his hands need to be flexible. Other parts of the body could be tougher, but his hands, in order to grab onto things and have grip, he can't just have metal plated hands. So we're just gonna have like rubber mesh surrounding the metal skeleton. We can have like crease marks. Nintendo's, I'm guessing at least. It'd be really interesting if not, because I have no idea what else. Dog barking in the music background. That'll be like the tuning knob if you want to set it like up octaves. Down octaves. I'm skimping a little bit because part of me, yes, wants to do really well in this, but other parts of it, like, people are not going to pay too much attention to. This song's interesting. What's this one? Set to Hakun Sunset Shore, Stage 6. This is interesting. Compact disc. Interesting. No. There we go. Let's just see what this looks like on the flip. Huh? The pen icon is gone. So it's interesting. It's not necessarily about the triangular shapes, but more or less just general rigidity, I think, still keeps it in a good spot. Because, like, these other elements that are not, like, essentially triangle shapes, like the feet and all, and the legs, they still look pretty nice. Comparatively. It's a bit of a clash, but they're all pointy in certain areas too. Like the round off calves for the joints. It still makes it all look very mechanical. It's giving me Cybz vibes, honestly. Man, if I had started drawing synths back in the day, like before they got real popular, or like while they were getting popular, and could have been really far by now as far as like getting commissions from work and stuff. But it's alright that I didn't. Alright. I gotta go to the bathroom real quick. I will be back. Although I am kind of losing steam just a little bit. I might have to pause for a break. Let's see something. How long has it been? Only been about 2 hours, I think. Yeah, just about 2 hours. It's a shame. I don't seem to be able to put more inputs. It doesn't seem like I'm going. I gotta make sure I go take care of the cat.
Hello?
Maybe I'll go do that. Come back. I'd have to stop the stream when I do that, but I'd start it back up again. Yeah. I think maybe this is a good time for a break. It's interesting too, because I remember back in the day, it wouldn't let me stream past 2 hours. I would like shut off. So maybe this is just what I usually have to do anyways. But yeah, I'll be back later. Alright? For the time being, I'll see y'all around. If not, that means I'm working on it outside of stream. Maybe I'll pick it up on Discord. Yo, that actually sounds interesting. To mix it up, instead of just all on YouTube or all on Discord, I'll do a half and half. If I get tired, then I'll go back afterwards. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Alright, well, I'll see you guys.